today we are doing the random question tag. What is it? Hello, my name is Heather. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing the Sentinel's random fragrance questions tag. I have not been tagged to participate in this. I just sort of found it and I'm going to do it. So there we go. So there's a series of questions here and we'll just sort of go through them and see what I got to say. What is next on your to buy list? So the Sephora sale is coming up in real time when I'm filming this. So the next thing I'm going to be picking up is actually a bigger size of Sol de Janeiro's Cheirosa 59. You can see I've only got maybe like 2 wears out of that. I'm really enjoying this a lot, so I'm going to buy a big bottle of this. That is the next thing that is on my list. The next question is, if you had to choose one mainstream or designer perfume brand and one niche brand, what would they be? This is a little hard for me simply because I don't really have like a lot of brand loyalty like that. I mean, there's 2 schools of thought. There's schools that like a brand should have like a cohesive thing and they all smell like your consumer base will buy more of that. If they like one fragrance, they'll buy another fragrance. So if it's cohesive and sort of kind of has similar veins but like still kind of different, they'll keep buying it. So like there's that train of thought. I'm more of the opinion that if a fragrance brand is doing its job right, in my opinion, all of the fragrances should be pretty different from each other. And because they're so different from each other, not all of them are going to be for me. But I feel like doing that makes you appeal to more groups of people, and maybe they won't buy every single fragrance that you put out, but they'll at least buy one fragrance. Sort of like 2 schools of thought I have about that, but for my personal opinion, I don't have a ton of brands that are very hugely represented. But if I had to choose, the mainstream fragrance brand that I'm going to pick is probably Hayley. It's debatable whether you can kind of debate whether that's designer or niche, but I think Hayley pretty consistently puts out a wide variety of things and also has a lot of fragrances that I really enjoy. So probably, honestly, Hayley. Niche brand, well, I guess it's actually more of an indie brand. I have a lot of fragrances from Sugar Milk. I think they put out a lot of like fun, interesting, sort of like gourmand and fruity and all the kinds of things that I kind of like. I have about 6 of their fragrances actually, so I guess it's probably that. More indie than niche, but whatever. Those are my decisions. I'm the one answering the questions. Okay, so the third question is, what are your best and worst perfume blind buys? My best blind buy would have to be, this is actually a very recent one for me. This is Dolce & Gabbana's L'Imperatrice Royale. I really love the original L'Imperatrice. I also really love cranberry as a note. So I immediately bought a giant 100 ml bottle of this, which is risky, and I advise against it, but this actually worked out really, really well for me. It smells close enough to the L'Imperatrice that it's something I really enjoy, and then the cranberry adds something different and makes it more like spring and fall. This was probably a really good recent blind buy. That's Dolce & Gabbana's L'Imperatrice Royale. All right, so my worst blind buy was this very early on in my journey. This is Hayley Kiyoko's Hue. It was only available in the States and I had to like figure out a way to get it to Canada and etc, etc. So the top notes of this are blood orange, freesia, watermelon, heart of lychee, peony, pink magnolia, rose, base notes of cocoa and musk. So those are all notes that when I look at them, even now, are notes that I'm very, very attracted to, right? So you would think that this would at least be okay at best. But the initial blast from this smelled like straight up gasoline to me. It gave me a headache virtually instantly, which is not a thing that I get with fragrance very often. But it was so headache inducing so quickly, and I was sick for like half a day, and it was just straight up. Oh, no, it was not good. So that was probably the worst blind buy for me. But that was early on in my journey. But even now when I look at it, the notes shouldn't have done, I don't know why. I don't know why. Fourth question is fragrance purchases I most regret. Aside from the ones I end up decluttering, I don't regret a lot of them. I mean, even the ones I do declutter, a lot of them smell okay, just end up getting something that's a little bit better. I do regret sort of another little bit of a blind buy fail for a stupid reason. I was really, at a certain point, going like, well, my name is Heather, and Heather's a flower. There should be some like Heather fragrances, and there's not a lot, but they do exist. And around that time, Joe Malone came out with Highland Heather. I blind bought that completely just because I wanted a Heather fragrance because I'm Heather. It's not for me. It's very green and nettly and not something like, I wasn't ultimately going to wear this. The bottle's very pretty and whatnot, but like, I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't think it through. So I guess I regret that one. The next question is, what's your most complimented perfume? I will say this, I don't wear fragrance for compliments, generally speaking. I personally don't even really notice when other people are wearing fragrance. I don't notice people's fragrances, and so I don't really expect people to notice mine very much. That being said, my answer to that question is probably this. This is Pannaco Tahaa from Fomowa. This is a musky mango fragrance, and when I had a decant of this last year, I remember at least 3 separate people who I'm not married to commented on this. So I guess it would be this. Now I have a bottle of it. So I'm excited to wear this year. So this is Pannaco Tahaa from Fomowa. The next question is, what's your most expensive and least expensive fragrance? The easy answer for the least expensive fragrances that I own are, generally speaking, all my Bath & Body Works body mists, because I tend to wait for the $5.95 sale. They're very inexpensive. Yeah, so my second answer to the least expensive would be these. I got Elizabeth Arden Green Tea Pomegranate and Elizabeth Arden Green Tea Lychee Lime. I got these for $6.99 Canadian each. So you can find these very, very inexpensively, and they smell pretty good. Like they're light and refreshing, and I think they're great for like spring and summer. These are great scents. My most expensive fragrance. So if you're talking about retail value, what is the most expensive fragrance that you own? It is probably this. It is this 100 ml bottle of Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. This is a very, very expensive fragrance now. I believe this is somewhere in the 600s or something like that in Canada. So yeah, very, very expensive. Not at all what I paid for it. Technically, that's the most expensive fragrance that way. The fragrance that I actually spent the most money on, this is Changing Constance from Penhaligons. I love this bottle. This is probably the one I spent the most money on, but this was my 40th birthday present to myself. So, and even then I didn't pay retail for this. This is probably the most expensive. It's so worth it. I mean, people complain about the longevity on this. I get okay longevity, but it's just so good. Even smelling it now, it's stunning. It's so good. So, no regrets. The next question is, what is the most represented fragrance brand in your perfume collection? Let's grab 2 different ones. The obvious answer, because I buy them for $5.95, is Bath & Body Works, probably. I just have a significant number of these body mists. I use them quite frequently, so I do buy quite a few of them. The second brand that is most represented, I would say, is Skylar, and that is simply because I was part of the Scent of the Month Club for 8 or 9 months or something. I'm not currently. So I just have a lot of these little travel sprays, so that's sort of why that is. What is your favorite discontinued fragrance? The answer is going to be nostalgia one. The answer is this. It's Tried by Coty. This is a fragrance I wore in my childhood and early teenage years. I remember really, really loving it. I don't exactly remember what it smells like anymore, other than I really, really loved it. I held on to that bottle for a really long time, even after it was empty, just to like smell it. It's long discontinued. I would love to smell it again, but like, I'm not paying eBay prices of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars when I used to buy it for 20. But yeah, I do kind of wish I had a bottle of it still, just for nostalgia's sake, because I do remember really loving it. Next question is, what type of fragrance videos do I like to watch? I do consume a lot of fragrance content. That's sort of how I got interested in fragrance. I'll watch a wide variety of people, so many to name. So I guess right now I'll just shout out the person I sort of got this fragrance tag from. She didn't tag me, she doesn't know who I am, but it's Claire Smith. I saw Claire do this and I thought I would answer the questions too, so I'll name her. There's a bunch of other people I watch, and there's a lot of people, like there's people I exclusively watch on TikTok, there's people I watch on YouTube. I know the standard advice is to find a nose that you trust and like base your purchasing opinions on that person. I watch a lot of people whose fragrance taste is not the same as mine at all, but it's sort of just interesting to hear people talk about it. And also, like, if they really like a scent, then like I can kind of go like, oh, I might not like that as much. It's just interesting to hear the way people talk about fragrance, at least for me. So that's sort of, I guess, a long, rambly answer to that question. Our final question is, which fragrances have you worn more than any other? I have actual stats on this because I keep track of things. But it's this combination, actually. So it is a combination of Cheirosa 68 by Sol de Janeiro and Ariana Grande's Sweet Like Candy. This combination is my post everything shower scent combination. So after I do all the showering and all the business, I end up putting both of these on. So because of that, because of how frequently I shower, this is the thing that I smell like most often. Those are the answers to my random fragrance question tag. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. That would really help me out. Thank you to the Sentinel for creating this fragrance tag. Thank you so much for watching, folks. I will see you around.